Hey y'all, hey. Hey y'all, hey. Happy Bible Talk Tuesday. Hey y'all, we are officially back. And I am so excited. Don't mind my face. I was praying and I started crying. The Lord is moving this week. I don't know. Something about this week just feels spiritual. And so if you haven't, get in your word, please get in your word and pray this week. Make sure you are praying. Make sure if you need to fast, make sure you're fasting. But I'm just trying to tell y'all, the Lord is up to something this week, and I don't know what it is, but hey. And I'm going to get into the word because it's pretty long. I read Esther, the book of Esther, and I think it's 10 chapters. But I read the book of Esther within these last 2 weeks, just like reflecting and being able to move into a new environment. As y'all can see, my background is different. However, I'm grateful. I'm happy that the Lord has brought me where He's brought me. And so we're going to get into Esther. I prayed over my book and I opened it to Esther 1. So the title of it is Queen Vashti Deposed. So it says, this is what happened during the time of Xerxes. The Xerxes who ruled over 127 provinces stretching from India to Kush. At the time, King Xerxes resigned from his royal throne in the citadel of Susa. And in the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his nobles and officials, the military leaders of Persia and Media, the princes and the nobles of the provinces were present. For a full 180 days, he displayed the vast wealth of his kingdom and the splendor and glory of his majesty. When these days were over, the king gave a banquet lasting 7 days in the enclosed garden of the king's palace for all the people from the least to the greatest who were in the citadel of Susa. The garden had hangings of white and blue linen fastened with cords of white linen and purple materials to silver rings on marble pillars. There were couches of gold and silver on a mosaic pavement of porphyry, marble, mother of pearl, and other costly stones. Wine was served in goblets of gold, each one different from the other. The royal wine was abundant, in keeping with the king's liberality. By the king's command, each guest was allowed to drink with no restrictions, for the king instructed all the wine stewards to serve each man what he wished. Queen Vashti also had a banquet for the women in the royal palace of King Xerxes. On the 7th day, when King Xerxes was in high spirits from wine, he commanded the 7 eunuchs who served him, Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, Abigtha, Zethar, and Carcass, to bring before him Queen Vashti wearing a royal crown in order to display her beauty to the people and nobles, for she was lovely to look at. But when the attendants delivered the king's command, Queen Vashti refused to come. Then the king became furious and burnt with anger. Since it was customary for the king to consult experts in matter of law and justice, he spoke with the wise men who understood the times and were closest to the king: Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsina, and Memucan, the 7 nobles of Persia and Media who had special access to the king and were highest in the kingdom. According to the law, what must be done to Queen Vashti, he asked. She has not obeyed the command of King Xerxes that the eunuchs have taken to her. Then Memucan replied in the presence of the king and the nobles, Queen Vashti has done wrong, not only against the king, but also against all the nobles and the people of the provinces of King Xerxes. For the queen's conduct will become known to all women, and so they will despise their husbands and say, King Xerxes commanded Queen Vashti to be brought before him, but she would not come. This very day, the Persians and the Median women of the nobility who have heard about the queen's conduct will respond to all the king's nobles in the same way. There will be no end of disrespect and discord. Therefore, if it pleases the king, let him issue a royal decree, and let it be written in the law of Persia and Media, which cannot be repealed, that Vashti is never again to enter the presence of King Xerxes. Also, let the king give her royal position to someone else better than she. Then, when the king's edict is proclaimed throughout all the vast realm, all the women will respect their husbands from the least to the greatest. The king and his nobles were pleased with this advice, so the king did as Memucan proposed. He sent dispatches to all parts of the kingdom to... I can't get the page. Each province in its own script, to each people in its own language, proclaiming that every man should be ruler over his household using his native tongue. All right. So, this isn't about Esther. This is about the king right now. So the first chapter is about the king and Vashti. Vashti was the queen. However, as we've read, the king asked her to come be in the presence of the people and of himself, and Vashti refused to come. And like, how you gonna turn on the king? But anyway, the part that stuck out to me was verse 19, where it says, "Therefore, if it pleases the king, let him issue a royal decree, and let it be written in the law of Persia and Media, which cannot be repealed, that Vashti is never again to enter the presence of King Xerxes. Also, let the king give her royal position to someone else who is better than she." And I underlined the part where it says, "Let the king give her royal position to someone someone else who is better than she." And I underlined that because if you're not doing what you need to do, you don't think that somebody else is going to be picked instead of you. Like, then that's going for me too. Like, God wants to use us. Like, God, if you didn't know, God is never mentioned in the book of Esther. You just see by like how his works is, like how he's moving in the background, basically. But if you think that you refusing to do something that God is telling you to do, and you think that you're going to be rewarded, no, God's going to do it for somebody else because you clearly don't want to do it. He's asking you to do something and you don't even want to do it. So that's even for myself. Like, if God is telling me to do stuff, I try my best to do it. Right now, he's telling me to sit down and be still, and I don't know how to do that. Like, I'm always doing something, and I had took like the last two weeks off, and majority of it was me moving, yes, but even when I wasn't moving, like, just trying to sit still is hard. And like, because I'm in my new apartment and like I'm by myself right now, but it's just hard for me to sit still. And yesterday I was talking to my pastor, and she was like, "You move too fast. You gotta sit still. You gotta sit in the silence." And I'm just sitting here like, oh my gosh, like, you've been telling me this since I met you, and I don't know how. And I'm praying to the Lord, and that's why, like, one of the reasons I was crying, because I'm like, Lord, I don't know how to sit still, but I don't want you to have to sit me down. Because if you don't know, if God is telling you to do something and you don't do it, he will sit you down. He will stop you from doing whatever it is that he told you not to do. Like, yes, we have free will. I get that. However, if he's telling you to do something and you don't do it, you're going to learn the hard way. Either you're going to do it the easy way or the hard way. And that's why I'm just sitting here like, all right, Lord. I start crying because I'm like, all right, Lord, like, I don't want you to have to do it the hard way. Like, the hard way hurts. The hard way is painful. So here I am. Like, I surrender. And it's crazy because in my church, we always talk about surrendering to God. And my pastor always says, like, at the end of service, he'll be like, surrender looks good on you. That's what I want. I want that surrender that looks good on me, because I don't want to do it my own way. I can't do it without God. Like, there's nothing in this world that I can do without God. And he has proven that to me time and time again. And I'm just grateful that reading Esther, like the whole 10 chapters, but just reading this today in verse 19, the king will give her position away to someone who is better than her. Someone that is willing to do what the king asks her to do. Someone that is willing to do what God is asking you to do. Someone that is willing to just go and do everything that you know you need to be doing. Like, if y'all don't realize, y'all don't see, y'all don't, like, Philly just had a bad storm. Like, trees coming out of the ground. How is a storm doing that? the Lord is coming back sooner than we realize. And the Bible reminds us, you do not realize what time God is coming. Like, nobody realizes that. Like, we don't know. He's just going to come. And the question is, are you going to be ready? Because I'm trying my best to be ready. It's hard. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's hard. Like, it's hard. However, I know that at the end of the day, I want to go to God. I want to be where He wants me to be. I want to go up to heaven and hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. I want to hear, my daughter, you have pleased me. I want to hear whatever He's going to say to me, but I can only do that if I live by what I preach, what I teach, what I show you guys. Like, that's what I want to do. And I can only do that by seeking the Lord. Because like John 15:5 says, He's the vine, we are the branches. With Him we can bear much fruit. Without Him we can do nothing. And that was a paraphrase, but that's exactly what it says. Like, we can't do nothing without God. So what side you gonna be on? You can't be lukewarm. And I keep trying to tell myself I don't want to be a lukewarm Christian. I want to be all in with God. And if that means not doing what I used to do, so be it. Like, I know I want to be all in with God. So I just pray that y'all have a great Tuesday. It feels so good to be back. And I'm just loving like the background. It's giving podcasts. I don't know. We might be on to something. But yeah, I just hope that y'all have a great day. And just remember, stay in the Lord's world. Yeah, I actually meant that. I meant to say stay in the Lord's will, but the Lord's world. Yes, stay in His world. So have a good one, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.